Welcome, Sojourners, to the Women's Leadership Mindset series presented by Teresa K. Page, LLC. My name is Teresa Page. I am your host and looking forward to spending these next few moments with all of you. We have a lot of work to get done on today, but first, allow me to invite you to connect with me by subscribing to my website and YouTube channel. Connect and follow me on LinkedIn, and always feel free to contact me directly via email at teresakpagellc@outlook.com. So what is our goal? Well, as an author, speaker, coach, and mentor, my mission is to help professional women renew their leadership mindset with fresh fire and purpose through the mediums of leadership development and coaching services. However, the Women's Leadership Mindset series is a new initiative intended to spotlight powerful women leaders and how they serve the world through their professions and purpose. So with the goal to help women realize their unfulfilled dreams and re-energize the leaders they always were, this platform is designed to enhance, empower, educate, equalize, and even emancipate, as our special guests share their entrepreneurial stories, provide valuable resources, and guidance in a caring, professional, and impactful manner. So, let's get down to business. Well, all right. In today's video, it is my pleasure to welcome to my virtual stage Arlene Morgan, owner of Morgan Creative Services, LLC of Winchester, Virginia. Arlene is a digital support specialist providing branding and streamlined digital back-end support to help struggling solopreneurs grow their business to thrive. Whether a stunning logo or content updates to your website or blog, Arlene says, I got you. Email newsletters, ebook, document creation, conversion, and more? Yes, she can handle that too. Whatever the need, Arlene is here to support your organization so that you can take care of core tasks and get things done. To connect with Arlene, you may reach her on her website at www.morganvaservice.com. You may also email her at amorgan@morganvaservice.com. You can connect with her on social media via LinkedIn at Morgan VA Service. And we'll bring all of this information back to you along with Arlene's free complimentary gift before we go. But first, I want to say welcome, Arlene. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Teresa. It is a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate that you're taking this time to chat with me. I look forward to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's such my honor and joy to be with you on today, and I can't wait to hear more about the work that you do. As we go ahead and get prepared to jump into our conversation, I first want to give a big shout out to Amanda Russell Boyd, who is the director and co-founder of Legal Shield and Jelly Social of Mississauga, Ontario. It was during one of her networking events is where you and I had the honorable pleasure to meet and to engage, and eventually end up here in this special space. So I'm so excited, and I want to just give a big shout out to Amanda. So thank you so much for the connection. So Arlene, let's go ahead and get down to business. Why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself?
I'm originally from Jamaica. Most people, doesn't know that. So that is one of the things I like to put out there. And I've always been a creative person. So when the opportunity presented itself for me to display my creative ability, I jumped on that wagon and I took full advantage of it. And I've been doing this most of my life for corporate America. But then one day I was called to do it on my own, as my own business. One of the reasons why I decided to do that was because I think people are important. They're not just bottom liners. I think that it's important that when we um, have our clients, we treat them with respect and compassion and kindness. And I think most of corporate America just basically just like, as long as they're paying, that's what really matters. So that is part of the reason why I started this business. I also started it because I enjoy doing all the stuff that I do, the graphic design, content update for website and blog, the document creation and conversion. I enjoy all of it. And I always do not just my best, but go above and beyond so my customers can be really excited about the end result of the project. And I live here in Virginia. I like the state of Virginia. It reminds me of Massachusetts, which I like. I just didn't like the snow. So yeah, but that's just an overview of me, and I really enjoy what I do, and I look forward to um, providing these services to as many people as I can who definitely do need these services and will benefit from them.
Well, I think that's pretty cool, Arlene, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. I want to kind of go back to what you just said, kind of transitioning out of corporate America into entrepreneurship. That can definitely be very daunting, even though the reason why you did so is very admirable, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But can you take us maybe a little bit behind the scenes to kind of share with us what that transition was like for you? I mean, with corporate America, you already, as you know what you're going to get. You're going to get that paycheck at a certain time. You got certain benefits and things like that. But with entrepreneurship, things are not always so predictable. So can you take us maybe peek behind the curtain a little bit and kind of share with us what was that transition like for you?
Um, this is my second business start. I had started a business way back when I think it was the market crash in 2008, I believe. And I was working at Fidelity Investments, and they were 30,000 strong, and they laid off literally half their workforce. And one of the things that they provided for the people that they laid off was they hired this company. The company's called Lee Hatch Harris. I can't believe I remember that name. But that company basically like help you to transition from working to not working, and helping you to, clean up your resume and get you back out there. And they also had an option where if you were thinking of doing your own business, there were studies and classes and things that you could take in order to propel you forward into that. And when I saw that opportunity, I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to own my own business, So, and my dad was a dentist. He had his own business, so I do believe that entrepreneur is in my blood. So, I just took advantage of that, and that went on for a while, and then I moved to Georgia, and that's when the market crashed and people weren't doing much. They weren't buying, they weren't selling. It's just, everybody was getting laid off and everything. So I didn't, when I first got laid off from Fidelity, I didn't worry about it too much because they compensated me. So I didn't have to think, oh, I'm not going to have a paycheck, because how they can compensated me, I would be getting paid for, every week for X amount of time. So I used that time to, get my business in order. But then when the market crashed, it kind of slowed down, and there was like, okay, we got to think of something else. So I went back into corporate America. And for the longest time, I was in corporate America again. And I felt like God was telling me to do my, go back to doing my own business. And I was just like, I don't want to. I don't want to. Because again, beginning, I was okay, but this time it's exactly like you said. the income not being consistent, and getting clients and all of that. So all of that was just like the first time I was experiencing that. So it was a little daunting, it was a little overwhelming. I rem Heart racing and everything. And every time I took a step forward doing something like getting my business name, getting my EIN number and all that stuff, it's just like, it's like shaking hands and everything. And then once I did it, it was just like, oh, that wasn't so bad. But what encouraged me or helped me to just keep moving forward is that whenever I get a client and they were so happy with what I do and giving them what they were looking for, I love it when a client say, "That's exactly what I was looking for. That looks exactly the way I thought it would look." So all of that just made me not focus on the challenges as much. It doesn't mean that I don't think about it and I'm not aware of it. I am aware of it. It just took a back seat to the benefit that I was offering. And hearing my clients being so excited and happy about, the end result of the project that they wanted. So though, for everybody, it's a little different. For me, that's how it was. And even now, when I hear a client say, "Oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted," or, and then I do have clients who are like, I don't know. I don't know how I want it to look. And I have to do a little feeling, a little not pushing and prodding, and, just to get things out of them so that, I have an idea of what they're looking for. And then the project comes to completion and they're very excited about it. So it's a little different for everybody, but that was my experience. And it doesn't mean that the challenges aren't there and I'm not like, thinking about some of those things. I do. I just don't, well, at the time, I just don't worry about it. I try not to worry about it is what I should say, but somehow, some way things comes up because, when you're just starting out, you have to go out there, you have to network, and I'm an introvert, so that was not an easy thing for me to do, especially in person. It was so much easier doing it, via Zoom, especially if it's a one-on-one or it's just a few people. It was so much easier for me to do that. So that's kind of like what it was like for me when I first started.
I think that's awesome, Arlene, and thank you so much for giving us a little bit of insight back there behind the scenes there. Can you just share with us why it's so important to heed to that particular calling or to that unction, and why it's important to do that? Why was it so important for you to, when you went back into corporate America, again, things were always consistent to a certain point, but you had that pushing, that nudging. How important do you believe, now that you've gotten kind of on the other side of it and you're now in the groove, how important do you think uh, lending yourself to that pushing, how that has been a benefit for you?
It's it's been a benefit in the sense that it pushed me beyond what I thought I could do because normally, when we are living a certain lifestyle, we feel comfortable and we feel like we're doing what we're meant to do, but then something happens that makes you feel like you have to do something different. And I believe, just what I believe, 9 out of 10 times when we're pushed to do something different than what we're now doing, there's always that, am I crazy? What am I doing? Because I think that is when we finally get to that point in our lives where something inside us says, this is not what you were meant to do. This is what you were meant to do. And because we have that feeling, and sometimes we push it aside because for about 2 years, I kept pushing it. I'm like, nope, nope, nope. And there's a little saying, if you don't make a decision, somebody will make it for you. So, because I was saying, no, that was my decision, but God was saying, no, that is not your decision. Since you are not making the right decision, I'm going to make it for you. So he put me in a situation where I definitely had to say, okay. I need to do this. I need to step out in faith and I need to follow my dream. It's something that I've always wanted to do. And graphic design was something that I enjoyed doing and all the other, and I have this ability to use the way things look and the way they work. And I had this ability to make them work together as opposed to separately, because at first I started out as just a graphic designer, but then as time went on, I found I found all these other technical things that just pulled me towards them. And then one day it was just like, these things should be working together, not separately. And basically that's what I do. So not only do I make your websites or your documents look beautiful or your email look beautiful that people will just look at it and don't want to stop. I make it work as beautifully as it looks. So it should be easy to follow. The flow should be easy. They shouldn't have to figure out, do I go over here or here, or where does this image belong? What's it referring to? Everything is cohesive and work together. And that is one of the gifts that I have. And I'm sure I'm not the only one with the gift, but that's one of my skills that I have, and I do it to make sure that my client is happy with it. I want them to see the flow, see the look, see how it works, and say, this is great. So it all just kind of, just comes together. And the drive to actually start doing it was always there. It's just that sometimes we tend to want to push it down or push it back. And that's what I was doing. But, finally it was just like, yeah, this is what I need to do. These are the people that I need to help. And this is how I can use my talents and skills and abilities to help someone else. I mean, if you're cooking, you might want to share it, right? So you're not just doing it for yourself. And sometimes when I cook, I feel like, oh my gosh, there should be somebody else here to eat this food. So the skills and the talents, that is, why chefs are chefs, because they have this talent and it's not just for them, it's for them to share it with the world. And I believe that is, what forces, what kind of prompts us to say, okay, this is what I need to do because of that skill, talent, ability that we have that is unique to us. It just, we need to share it with the world, and it's not something we keep to ourselves.
Absolutely. And I absolutely love that, Arlene. I tell you, one of the things with my organization, I recently added in coaching into my business model. And not too long ago, we got my very first coaching client. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm still kind of
Fantastic.
navigating to determine if I really do like it. But one of the things that I find cool is that as I am helping them to achieve their goals, some of the things that they can't see, my imagination can absolutely see it. So, can you tell us, as a creative, as one that has a creative mind as well as a technological mind as well, why it's so important to be able to lend your imagination to your clients to help them um, to come up with exactly what they were looking for, even though they couldn't verbally articulate it. Why is that so important?
Um, I will use a client that I had a few months ago who they wanted a newsletter header that is going to be constantly on their newsletter every time it goes out. So eventually people will recognize. A newsletter header is like, the sign on your door saying, this is me and who I am and what I do. So when she came to me, it was, um, I know I want to use the colors in my logo, and I know I needed to look good. She didn't really have much because I was just like, so what are you expecting? How do you expect it to look once it's done? And she's like, I don't know. So I did a little bit of, pulling and, kneading and all that stuff. And finally, I got some information, and eventually, I said to her, okay, what I will do is I will create two samples and I will send it to you, and you tell me which one you like, and we'll move from there. She's like, okay. A week later, I sent her two samples. What I did, so what I got from her was the only thing I got from her was her logo. That's it. Yeah, it was just like, okay, um, all right. And the what she wanted to call her newsletter, Digital Digest. So I was just like, okay. And I went ahead and I took her logo. I used she had a beautiful logo with nice colors. I went ahead and I took the colors. I created two sample, one with one color as the dominant and another with the other color dominant. And I got some graphics. I added to it. I actually she gave me the raw logo, so I was able to pull the logo apart, not the original. I took a copy and just pulled the logo apart to create different elements in that email header. And once I did that, when she saw the first sample, she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is great! I don't know which one I want to choose. There's so, oh my gosh, it's like you could just the way she articulated herself in the email was clear that she was just like really blown away that I took so little information. Because sometimes I know for myself too, sometimes I know what I want, but I don't know how to clearly articulate it to the person. But if they know what they're doing, and if they know the right questions to ask, and sometimes it can be tricky, sometimes it's smooth, and sometimes it's rough. It just all depends. But once you get to the point where you get the information that you need, you can come up with something. And one of the things that I did is I went to her website. I looked at how she had it, the colors on her website. I went to the newsletter that she was already publishing. I looked at it. I got some additional information from there, and I created these two things. And then she said she loved it. And I could tell that she was like, something is still missing. I felt like something was still missing. So I created a tagline. Somebody called me a tagline queen because I just make up stuff. And when I went to her website, she originally had a different title for her newsletter. So I took two of the words out of that title, or I think it was two words, but I took the word and I created a tagline and I redid it a little bit and moved some stuff around. I went and I got an image and I put it in there and everything and I sent it to her and she's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, perfect. Oh my gosh. And then she sent me, can I keep the tagline? And I'm like, yes, because I have no use for it. So it's about, just I believe that I did my due diligence, and I believe that it's how most of us, give our clients what they're looking for, and our clients are happy because we just kind of do the extra work. Um, Somebody who came to me who wanted a branding for themselves, I didn't do as much in terms of due diligence and research because she already knew exactly what she wanted, how she wanted it to look, the colors. She knew exactly. So my goal was to take all that she had and put it together and create this amazing branding for her. And that's what I did. But with this other client, no clue. So I had to do a little bit more, and it wasn't a lot of work. It took more time, but it wasn't hard work. It was just more time work. And I did it, and she was just like, "Oh my gosh!" And finally, she chose the color that she liked, and because I always give my clients option. You can, interchange. You're looking at two, three samples. You can interchange colors and fonts and all that stuff and images and you know, and just come, tell me what you want and I'll put it together. So, and she did that. She liked the color on one and she liked the font on the other one. and she liked the layout on one, but she wanted to do a little tweaking. So that is how I'm able to give her what she didn't know she was looking for. So, and it was great. And the whole time she was just like, "I'm sorry, I'm being such a tough client." I'm like, "No, you're not." You know, you told me right up front that you don't know what you want it to look like, and it was my job at that point to say, "Okay, I can't help you because I need to know what you're looking for," or I could take it a step further, little TLC, extra TLC, and get her what she wanted. So I think that is basically the idea behind all of it, with using your own creative mind and your own idea of what you have in your head. Um, some people, like you said regarding yourself, you can see something before someone else see it. I remember years ago I painted my house and my daughter was just like she couldn't see the colors that I was telling her I was gonna use. She's like, I can't see it. It doesn't look right. And once I was done, she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I couldn't see it, but now that I see it, it looks amazing. So it's, some people just have that gift of like doing numbers or, coming up with wording and stuff like that. For me and even you, it's about seeing the layout of something and know how it's going to look, the right colors, the right images, the right fonts, and you know, and so I just reach in there and I didn't have to reach too deep into my own mind. I could, once, you're talking to me, telling me what you want, I'm already forming a picture of what it should look like. So, yeah, so that's how that works for me.
Absolutely. Well, I absolutely love that. And thank you for giving us some examples. So you mentioned taking the extra time to apply that TLC. So let's lean further into that. The TLC of Morgan Creative Services, LLC. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about your organization, and what your client demographic looks like and how people are able to start connecting and working with you.
Well, I again, like I said, I do both design and technical, and I also do research. So on the design aspect, it's logo, graphic, brand design, and I create graphics for websites, social media graphics, business card. Logo design includes like four formats of PDF, EPS, PNG, and JPEG, three different color conversions, grayscale, black, white, duotone. And then there's the brand design, which includes everything of the logo design, but it's a full spectrum of your brand, which includes the colors, the fonts, the layouts, the everything. So you get to choose 2 to 3 fonts that you're going to be using consistently throughout your marketing. And it's all converted for print and online layouts. So you get a certain amount of certain type of images that will work great on online, and the ones that will work great for the prints. I also do illustration and photo editing as well as hand-drawn design. And the technical aspect, which includes email newsletters, Zoom webinar assistant, maintenance, and content update for website and blog, PowerPoint and spreadsheet, ebook, document creation, and conversion. And the conversion is taking the document that I created and converting it into a PDF or an editable PDF as long as that can be done. And I will create images of those documents as well if you wanted to use it for online, if you wanted to put it on your website as an image. And the research basically is finding that person, place, or thing that you're looking for, whether it's a software solution or a hotel or to host an event or just the latest technology of what is happening out there. And usually, I can be reached at, if you go on my website, everything is there. And they're right at the top. There's like the contact information, and there's the booking and the calendar event that you can reach out to me. There's my um, there's my you can also reach me with through via Facebook or Alignable or even LinkedIn. And those are the usually the best way to reach me. Um, and I usually try to get back to people the same day or within 24 hours. If somebody reached out to me today, I usually make an effort to get back to them the same day. And then if we can't really do anything that day, then we schedule another time. And but yeah, that's basically, and I'm very flexible, so it just depends on what the person is looking for and how they want to work. If they're in the area, I meet with them. If they're not, then Zoom is one of the way. And I usually have like a 24 to 72-hour turnaround time, and that's business hours. When I say that, people's like, okay, so it's like no, Saturday and Sunday not included. And I'm usually flexible with my clients in terms also in terms of how they want to be connected. So I have clients who said the best way to reach me and get a response is text. And another client would say, send me an email. If you send me an email, I am 100% sure I'll respond to it. And so, and I don't have contracts. I don't have um, deposits or anything like that. It's pay in full upfront, and we go over everything in detail. I have a 1 hour consult before the project actually starts. And that way it makes the best time. And there is no hourly charge. It's just, this is the project, this is how much it costs, and that's it. So they don't have to worry that, they're gonna have to be paying. I mean, don't get me wrong, if there is, this excess amount of time that I'm spending, then it will need to be addressed. But I already have an idea that sometimes things can go a little bit longer, so that all of that is considered. So so yes, that's pretty much how I work with my clients, and I do give them the it's the first once they get the first sample, it other samples varies because it might take some time for them to respond to me. And once I get it, I try to get it back to them on time. So the turnaround time afterwards, after that time, usually varies a little bit. So, but yeah, that's generally how. And I'm usually available during the week, days, and not at nights or weekends. I try to make that clear because I've had, clients try to contact me on the weekend. I've had clients try to get a response out of me at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and it's just like, so other than that, though, all my clients have been, and they're very understanding in regards to my boundaries, and they actually just use it for themselves. They set their own boundaries because one of the ways to have a really successful and fruitful relationship with your clients is to adhere to their boundaries and they adhere to yours. That way, everybody know what's happening, and somebody don't have to say, oh my gosh, there's no stress on each side thinking, we have to cross that line in order to get what we're looking for. So, and I do believe that I'm a pretty relaxed, easy to, get along person. Sometimes I have to reel that fun side of me back in because I tend to like, this is business, girl. You're trying to make this funny and this is business. So sometimes I really, yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell and how my business works. And it's usually Monday through Friday. My clients can reach me Monday through Friday, just about anytime between 9 and 4. But if you go on my website, you'll see specific times. And the reason for that is because I need those times to work on projects. If I just leave myself open to being accessible to everybody all the time, then I wouldn't have the time to do work on client projects. or if a client needed an immediate meeting, like, this is kind of an emergency. So, and I'm usually flexible even with people coming in, but the times on my website and anywhere where my time is displayed, it's those are the times that if somebody is reaching out for the first time, those are the best times to reach me. And I usually get back to people within 24 hours, or usually the same day to be exact. So, yeah.
I love that. I really love that, the way the structure of your organization is. And I really love the way that you kind of touch base on why it's important to have flexibility of communication. Also, establishing boundaries, both for you as well as for your client. And again, finding a way to marry both creativity and the technological needs that your clients need. Now, we did mention earlier in your bio that you love to support solopreneurs, and so I think that's pretty cool. Is there a particular industry that you like to work with, or does it matter to you?
The industry doesn't really matter because in general, it's like we all need to drink water. So
Yeah.
there's, I mean, literally every business out there needs all these things. However, the people that I find that I'm most helpful to are the ones that are first time solo professionals, who don't have the budget to go out and create. So I have packages of specific things at a lower price. If they purchase all these things separately, it would cost them a lot more. So I have little bundles of things that they can just, purchase all at once, and they get all these things together. And once that's it, that's it. And I also create it in a way where they'll have it, they can reuse it. They don't have to keep paying or doing anything. And if they feel like they need it updated and they don't want to do it, I'm here to do it for them. I've got their back. And so it's first time, eco-conscious solo professionals who's not too into technology. They want to streamline certain things, but they don't want to like go out and get like a CRM or, fancy stuff to do things for them. Then I'm here to assist them. And those are the two new ones that I added. But in general, it's just solo professional or just overwhelmed with all these things that they need to use to run their business, but they're overwhelmed by it because the core tasks that they need to do, they they can't concentrate fully on it because of all these little things that they need to get out. They need to get out that email newsletter, on a weekly, monthly, bi-weekly basis. They need, they have this new product or new service and they need to add it to their website and they keep forgetting because they don't consider it a priority, or they just have, things happening on their website and they don't know why and they don't want to take the time to figure it out. So I go on the back end and I just figure out all these things, like make sure their all their plugins are working together or playing nicely, and make sure that if they have any integrations that needs to run their website, that it's either updated or it's being paid for. I've come across an instance where not my client but someone else's client, they had integration that helps to do things on their website, and it was a paid integration and they weren't paid for it, so it wasn't working. And they were just like, I don't understand why it's not working because he didn't pay for it. But yeah, it's just making sure that all of these things are, just so they can focus on the core tasks that only they can do. Nobody else can do it for them. And the things that they don't have to do that they can delegate or outsource, they just deal with that accordingly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love that, Arlene, that you give organizations that opportunity to focus on what it is they need to do to move that business forward and so that they're able to grow and, as we mentioned, and thrive. So, Arlene, we're going to start preparing to downshift in our conversation. I'm so loving our conversation on today.
I am
But one
too.
of the things that I love asking all of my featured guests is about their leadership style, about their leadership mindset. So as you know, this is the Women's Leadership Mindset series podcast. And you also know, as for me, as an author, speaker, and a coach, I absolutely am passionate about employing love as that ultimate success factor to renew women's leadership mindset with fresh fire and purpose. Um, how would you describe yourself as far as what kind of leader you are?
Oh, talking about ourselves are usually so hard because we either feel like we're talking too much about ourselves or I know for me personally, when I have to talk about myself, I'm just like, I hope they don't think I'm being conceited or, something like that. But I believe I'm a very compassionate person. I don't get upset very easily because I understand that there could be things going on in your life that are private that is causing you to act the way you're acting. And my role being in your sphere at that moment is to be graceful, is to be forgiving, is to show grace. Because whatever it is that's going on, if we can show compassion and kindness, then we're basically saying that that person is nothing more than a paycheck. So I think it's important that we don't have to be their best friend, but I believe that I need to treat you I need to get to know you. I should be able to say, hey, Teresa, how is business? If you have children, hey, Teresa, how's your daughter? Need to remember that I spoke with you. And of course, we're not going to remember every single detail with everyone we speak with. But I want to know that I am paying enough attention to you to remember certain things that are important to you. And that is how I approach all my clients. That is how I approach people in general, And I was not this person. It took me a while to get here, but it was always in me. And that is why it wasn't hard for me to come to this point where I can say, you know what? There's stuff going on in your life, you know. I mean, I've had people like cancel. They didn't even cancel. They just don't show up at a meeting, and I'm just like waiting. And then later on, they contact me. Even if they see me, I'm just like, say, hey, how are you doing? I don't bring it up. I just don't see the need, you know? It doesn't mean that I forget about it. I will remember it. So, if the person do it again, I'd be like, okay, don't schedule anything with this person, So, but I believe it's important to just, show the compassion, the kindness, the love. You don't have to, rub up against the person or anything like that. But if you can show them that they're not just a client, they're also a human being with feelings and emotions, and they have their own life stuff going on. So that is how I see myself as a compassionate, caring, understanding person. I'm very flexible when it comes to people. It doesn't mean, and people see that as me being a pushover, but and I used to feel weird about it because people would say, "Oh, you're too nice," or "You're a pushover," or whatever. But now it's just like I'm embracing that part of me, and because I embrace that part of me, I feel like I'm getting the clients that I work best with because they're clients who want people to treat them like a person and not a bottom line. And yeah, so that's the kind of person that I think I am, and that's the kind of person that I think my clients see me as. I don't know for 100%, but from what their interaction with me gives me that impression that they can talk to me, that they can have a conversation with me without feeling like, am I saying too much or am I telling too much? And I just, I think it's important that showing love to others is also being true to yourself, being authentic. it allows you to be more open to the person that you're speaking with, and it allows you to be more kind and compassionate towards them because you're showing them who you truly are, and you want them to treat you with a certain level of respect, kindness, and compassion. So in return, your brain just translate is that, a long time ago, there's a saying, it still is, if you want if you want a friend, you have to be a friend kind of thing. So that's kind of the, not exactly how I, use it in my business, but it's kind of like one of the part of the foundation of how I treat my clients. The way that I would want somebody to treat me, that's how I treat my clients. So, and I show them my kind, caring, and compassionate side, and they appreciate that. So,
Absolutely. I absolutely love that. And you made mention that you've learned how to embrace this part of yourself, being that authentic, compassionate, graceful, and kind of leader. And I do think that kind of leads into my next question. And as far as love is concerned, I believe that the effective power of love really is a game changer for us, not just in that emotional and heart matter space, but I also believe that even in the world of business, that love can give us a competitive edge so that we are innovative in business, that we're powerful in leadership, that we can be fully present for our stakeholders and for our teams and our clients, and that we're also knowledgeable about our industry trends as well as be benevolent in our community services. So with all that in mind, as far as what love can do for us in as leaders as well as in our business models, is that how do you believe that love has tangibly shaped you as a leader? So you just described how you demonstrate your leadership to others, your clients and others, but how do you believe that love has tangibly shaped you to be that compassionate, that kind, and that authentic leader?
love in general has just shaped me in a way where I can actually say to a person, I love you, and not feel weird about it. And I'm not kidding. I feel like I just throw that word out to everybody that I know, not strangers, but people, because I want them to know that I love them and that they're in my life, not just as a person in my life, but they're an important person in my life. Even if it's for a short moment, even if it's for long term, short term, temporary, it doesn't matter. If love has taught me that no matter how long or short a person is in my life, I should let them know that I care. So that's how I feel like it has shaped me. And it has allowed me to just be more relaxed and not so tense because I think I was a little tense, but now I'm more relaxed and I'm more relaxed and I can, just be kind to others, and it's allowing my business to flourish in the direction that I would like it to go.
Well, that's awesome, Arlene. I think that's awesome. So as we prepare to close, Arlene, I know that someone in our listening audience has been listening to you and they have understood your journey, that transition from the corporate space into that entrepreneurial space and why it was so important for you to yield to that nudging to step out and to do the things that you were made to do. So for those who may be listening in our audience that they may be having that little nudge themselves. There's something in the back of their mind that just won't leave them alone that they need to step out and do. But for whatever reason, they haven't yielded to that just yet. They might be a little nervous or, circumstances might be a little interesting. What tip, what encouragement or resource would you give to someone that absolutely are considering their dream career or even that dream business that they want to turn into a reality, but they just haven't taken that leap yet? What would you say to them today?
I would say to them, be brave, be bold, step out in faith, because again, if you don't make a decision, something or someone will make it for you. So if you know in your heart that this thing that you've been n- thinking about that has been nudging you to do it, you need to step out and do it. It's not going to be 100% easy, and you might find out that some aspect of it is not as hard as you think it will be. And one of the things that I have learned in my journey is that just about, and it applies to personal and professional living. Just about everything that we think of, we always think of the worst case scenario. That is what we do, and that is what keeps us from going forward. So instead of thinking best, worst, just think in terms of what you can do now to get to where you need to be. And it's little chunks. It's a little chunk. It's not, doing big thing. It's just a little step. Take the first step. Because sometimes you might hear somebody says, oh, they don't want to say something or they don't want to write something or something similar to that because once they do that, it becomes real. And I think sometimes that is what we're afraid of. We're afraid of taking that first step because it will make it real for us. And sometimes we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where our mind will have to expand because it needs expanding. And when everything in you is saying you need to do this, we need to listen because most of the time it's always right. That thing that you feel deep down inside of you, that nudging that you just can't get rid of it. Nobody says I haven't met an entrepreneur whose journey has been smooth sailing from start to finish. At some point, there's that turmoil, that wave. But again, you can't look at, we shouldn't look at worst case scenarios or best case scenarios. We should look at where we are and what we can do right in this moment and just keep going. So don't be afraid. Take the step. Don't tell yourself you're going to fail or you're going to succeed. And failure is not failure. You're learning. Anytime something doesn't work out the way that you think it would, you are learning and you just keep moving forward. They are paid lessons, lessons, lessons. You're not a failure, and what you're doing will succeed if it's within you to just do it.
I absolutely love that, Arlene. Thank you so much. And so while we're still in that vein that in where you're educating us here, in this vein, what about those who may already be living the dream? They were bold, they were brave, they took that step of faith to step into the dream, but they're feeling a little stuck or frustrated. What would you say to them?
Pretty much something similar. You've come this far. The fact that you have been successful and you've come this far, don't stop now. Now is even the time that you're going to do what you need to do to propel you even further into your destiny. Don't stop now. Don't give up. Don't shy away. Some people, one of the things that I also learned is that we tend to get comfortable where we are and we don't want to do anything different. It's like change can sometimes paralyze us. Me, I'm not going to say that I embrace change with a passion, but I look forward to the change because I'm always thinking to myself, I need this to be different. When I see something in a certain way, I'm like, I need this to be different. And then when I think about what I may have to do, it's like, biting your nail kind of stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But then when you leave the first step to go into the next step, you're just like, oh my gosh, why was I freaking out? You realize that it's just that part of you, the brain, our brain, another thing that I've learned is our brain doesn't care about how we feel. Your brain just wants to protect you. That's it. It will, if there is something going on that your heart is racing, your brain is going to say, hey, your heart is racing. You know what that means? It means you need to back off. You need to, doesn't mean that you should or you shouldn't, because you will know if what you're doing is the right thing or not. And sometimes it's the right thing and it works out, and sometimes you think it's the right thing at the moment and it doesn't work out. But the point is, your brain, no matter what the circumstances, what the situation, your brain will always tell you, don't do it. Because look, your hands are shaking. Look, your heart's racing. You're sweating. It's like your brain is going to take all of that and just like say, don't do it. But we need to be strong, overcome, just keep going. People who are been successful, they just need to keep going. And the only way they should slow down is if they're at a point in their life where they need to slow down, or, you know, they're getting close to retirement. I don't think I will ever retire. Do less work? Yes. Retire? I want to do graphic design and content update. I want to do all that stuff for as long as I can live, you know, so keep going, you know, and you will feel you will feel the reward, and you will thank yourself later for stepping out, whether you're just starting out or whether you're already successful and need to take the next step.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for giving us those words of encouragement and those tips there, Arlene. So you heard that, audience. For those who are still on the fence, be brave, be bold, take that step of that leap of faith. And for those who are already living the dream, but you're feeling a little frustrated, keep going. I love that. So, Arlene, we're preparing to close here our conversation. I'm loving it so much. So you have a free gift. You actually have two for us today. You have a 30-minute consult as well as a free DIY branding guide. Very briefly, tell us about both of these wonderful things you have brought to our listening audience.
Okay, so the DIY branding guide is for people who don't really have a brand or who wants to do something different with their brand. And basically, you will get that if you sign up for my monthly newsletter, Morgan Insight. And it basically has tips and information. It's actually like a two-part thing, because at the middle of the month, I send out another newsletter that is it's specifically just tips. There's nothing in there but just tips of what you can do to propel your business forward. It doesn't have anything in there other than just tips. And then my newsletter, it has a little bit about me and my business. It has a monthly trivia question, and starting next month, if not next month and month after that, I will be adding a little gift to the trivia. So the very first person who answers the question correctly, that person will get, if they're in the area, they'll get a $25 gift card to Need Bakery. But if they're anywhere else in the US, it will be a Panera, a $5 Panera gift card, or a Starbucks gift card. So that's for the DIY. When you sign up for that newsletter, you get that. And for the consult, if you're working on a project right now and you're just frustrated with it, and you believe that you could use some assistance, reach out, and that is what I will do. I will do a 30-minute sit down with you and help you go through some of the things that could propel you forward with that project, or help you to bring that project to where you need to get it. And that is free, 30 minutes free of just getting like, this is what you need to do and this is what you can do. And, you know, it's not finding out what you're looking for. It's helping you with the project that you're currently working on, or that you're planning on working on, like tomorrow. It's not something for the future. So if you're working on something, or even if you have something that you're going to be working on the next week, at no further than that, and you're having any issues like getting where you want to go with that project, that is what the 30-minute consult is. So it's more of a help you than a consult, because a consult is just going over what you're looking for and what you need and how it's going to be done. This is more getting you to complete your project and moving it forward. The DIY for the newsletter, that's pretty straightforward. You can sign up on my website, and that should automatically come to you with the 30-minute consult. All you have to do is just contact me. All my contact information is on the website. You can do phone, email, or social media. I'm there. Reach out in whatever way is more convenient for you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, Arlene, thank you so much for these wonderful gifts. For our listening audience, we're going to make sure that we put this information in the bio. So I want to just say it's been such a real honor and a pleasure to have this conversation about you with
Thank
you
you.
today, and so we can learn more about you and your work and how you serve the world and how you support solopreneurs. So as we are finally, we're on our third getting ready to close. This is the final getting ready to close. Yes, any last words you want to leave us with as we as to take us home?
Um, just be yourself, be authentic, go after your dream. Do not let anyone in on this planet tell you that you can't do what you believe in your heart you can do. If you're not a brain surgeon, I'm not saying if you get an inkling to be a brain surgeon to go out and do it. I'm saying if you have a talent that you believe that you can share with the world and make somebody's life better, go out and do it. Be yourself. Just, show the love, receive the love, because sometimes it's hard for us to receive. So give the love, receive the love, and, try and live your best life as you possibly can.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. It was such an honor for you to join us on today. Thank you so much. Well, ladies, we want to say thank you for joining us. Remember that you can connect with Arlene and her complimentary free gifts on today by visiting her website at www.morganvaservice.com. You may also email her at amorgan@morganvaservice.com. And please be sure to connect with her on social media via LinkedIn at Morgan VA Service. And don't forget to take full advantage of her 2 complimentary gifts, which is her 30-minute free consult to help you get started on that project or task that you've been putting off. Remember that you can schedule that by visiting her website at www.vaservice.com/bookings. You may also take advantage of the free DIY branding guide to help you confidently build your brand's look and feel all on your own. So to grab your free DIY branding gift, you may do so by subscribing to Morgan Insight. You can do that at www.morganvaservice.com/subscribe to. And again, all of this information will be in the bio. Now, leaders, do you have an important story to tell that would inspire others to step into their dream career or business? If so, check the bio to learn how to become one of my special gifts. And I also want to invite you to check out my brand new book, My Journey to Wholeness, Love the Success Factor. Now available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. This book and its companion reference guide workbook is a tangible demonstration of how God's love develops women to lead, create, and to generate wealth in the fullness of our equality, purpose, and business. So please check the bio to learn more. So we want to say thank you for joining in for another episode of the Women's Leadership Mindset series. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, here's to the journey, and let's move forward.